Good afternoon. My name is Rodney Keys, and I'm a Value Teachers representative. We are one of the board-approved vendors, retirement vendors here in this county, and we're here today to talk with you about retirement education. I'd like to thank Dr. Johnson for allowing me and Value Teachers to come in today and speak with you about retirement. Before I get started with the presentation, I passed out a report card to everyone as they came into the room. Would you please take just a few minutes to complete the top portion of your report card? We need to obtain your name, a number other than the school's telephone number, an email address, what your planning period is, and any additional information that you can provide to us so that we can properly follow up with you with additional information that you may want after this presentation. As for the boxes below on the report card, you'll better understand what to check as I go through my presentation today. So let's get started. Value Teachers was formed by a retired educator. Her name is Paula Smith, and Paula was in education, K through 12, and at the university level. And when she retired, she recognized that she didn't have really the money that she needed saved for retirement. No one really talked with her about ways in which she could save for retirement using a 403B. Paula, being the passionate person that she is for educators, said no more will any other educator go without being educated on what their options are as far as saving for retirement. So she created Value Teachers to educate educators on the options that they have for retirement savings. So we're excited to be here today, and I think it's exciting for you to know that a former educator started our company. Now, we have what we refer to in Value Teachers a national disaster. Well, what is that national disaster? Well, the national disaster is that for an educator who works 30 years, on average, they will retire on about $1,600 a month in take-home pay. That's a national disaster when you figure after 30 years of educating students, you've most likely touched thousands of children, but yet your pay at the end of your career is only $1,600 a month. Now, where did we get that number from? That's not a number that we created out of the air, we pulled out of the air. It comes straight from the Georgia Teacher Retirement Book. Now, what we have found in Georgia, the formula says for every year of service of working, you receive 2% credit for every year that you've worked. So most teachers target 30 years of service. At 30 years of service and 2% credit per year, that works out to 60% of the average of your highest 2 consecutive years of salary. So in Georgia, we found that number, or nationwide as well, to be $50,695. If we take 60% of that, that works out to $30,417. So here we have a situation 1 week before retirement, you're making $50,000 a year. Your first week into retirement, you're now making $30,000 a year. How many of you could handle that type of a transition in 1 week's time? Not many. Now that $30,000 is further reduced by taxes, as you see here, and health insurance costs. So by the time we deduct those numbers from that $30,000, it leaves $19,000 a year in take-home pay. Dividing it by 12 results in $1,600 a month. So that means you need to do something different. You need to do something to save and prepare yourself for retirement. You need to supplement what the state is providing to you. Now, how many of you have heard of a 401k? A lot of hands. 401ks are retirement plans for corporate America. If you work for IBM, for example, or Coca-Cola or Home Depot, you have access to saving for retirement using the company's 401k. And most likely, you're going to get a match for contributing to that plan. Those plans have been around only 30 years, but you have 80% of eligible employees participating. Well, let's look at the 403B. That's what you have as an employee of a nonprofit organization, a 403B. It's like corporate America's 401k. These plans have been around for over 52 years. However, we only have 25% of eligible educators participating. We believe that's because of a lack of education. That's why Paula Smith founded Value Teachers, to educate you on these things so that you know what your options are. We have to increase that 25% so that you can retire with financial dignity. Now, how can we utilize the 403B? Well, the best way we can illustrate that is by using this slide here we've entitled Uncle Sam's Gift. If you look at the top row, we have an educator making $3,000 a month, paying $750 in taxes, leaving $2,250 in net pay. Then after that, they save on an after-tax basis, possibly putting that $300 in a credit union savings account or personal savings, and that leaves them with $19.50 to live off of at the end of that month. Now, what if they use that 403B or TSA, tax sheltered annuity, to save that same $300? Well, look at row 2. The $300 comes out as soon as that employee is paid, before taxes come out. So they're only taxed on $2,700, paying less taxes at $675, bringing home $2,025. And you can see they are bringing home $75 more per month, but still saving the same amount. But because they're using the 403B, their money is stretched and it's going further. It's a gift from Uncle Sam. And then the last row suggests that they could even save $400 a month before taxes using the 403B and still bring the same take-home pay as if they were saving $300 on an after-tax basis. This is a gift, and you want to take advantage of that if you're in this room and planning to retire one day. Now, PLOP. How many have heard of PLOP? Not many. PLOP is for retirees as they're moving on into the retirement phase of their career. You could take a partial lump sum option plan, which is PLOP, taking some of your retirement money in a lump sum and not taking the maximum monthly benefit. Now, we have found that the average PLOP size in Georgia is $116,000. And when you take that money, should you choose to take it in PLOP, you want to move that money into an IRA account. We can show you how to do that. You want to put that money somewhere where it's safe and it can continue to grow to be a part of your overall retirement strategy. If you're planning to retire within the next 2 or 3 years, please check your box on your report card. We definitely want to help you to develop a strategy for utilizing and taking advantage of PLOP. Now, what are the ways in which you can save for retirement here in the school system? Number one, the state teacher retirement, which we just talked about. 2% per year credit, average teacher after 30 years, $1,600 a month is what they'll take home. If you need more information about that, check that on your report card. 403B, we just talked about that, saving on a pre-tax basis, and Uncle Sam's gift. If you have questions about that or you want to get started with that, please check that box and we'll provide more information to you. PLOP, if you're within 2 years or 3 years of retirement, we'd like to educate you more on your options with PLOP. And then you have an IRA. Now, value teachers, we can help you even with an IRA. We particularly like the Roth IRA because it allows your money to grow income tax free versus retirement plans like the 403B, state teacher retirement, which grow your money tax deferred. So it gives you some diversity in your savings. And then Social Security. I'm not sure you can count on that. If you're under 35 years old, it may not be here when you retire. So it's even more important that you take advantage of an IRA or 403B because the Social Security may not be around. In fact, last year, more was paid out in Social Security than was paid into the system. So if something doesn't change, that money may deplete itself over time. And then lastly, a staggering statistic is that over 50% of educators, when they retire, even after 30 years, will obtain a second job. Many substitute teaching, and then also many going into retail. Now, I can't imagine after 30 years of teaching going back into the classroom, or after 30 years of teaching going into retail at $10 an hour. I want you to know that Value Teachers has built its company on hiring retired educators. If you know of anyone who's within a couple of years of retirement looking for part-time income, please on your report card make an indication of that name or that phone number. Just say, Rodney, I've got someone I want you to talk with because we are expanding. We're in 4,000 school systems across the United States, and we need more educators to join our mission to help educators to retire with financial dignity. Now, what about savings options here in the school system? Well, we call this funny banking. We have Bank A and Bank B. Bank A may represent some of the companies here in the school system that allow you to save in a 403B or 457 plan. You may pay fees of 2 to 2.5%. You're fully exposed to the market. When it goes up, you go up. When it goes down, you go down. But even when it's down, you're paying fees in a bad market. And we know that in the last 3 years, Many people lost between 40 and 60% of their retirement accounts. Do any of you know anyone like that? I do too. And then you can also lose your principal. Now, Bank B. I'm proud to say that Value Teachers is a Bank B company. We have no fees in our accounts. There's no market risk. There's no loss of principal or even your gains. And you can obtain a full night's sleep at night because there's no risk in your account. Now, when it comes to retirement education, we want to make sure that there's no teacher left behind. This concludes my presentation. I'd like to encourage you right now, before I fully conclude, to take just a moment to check the boxes on your report card in the areas that I can help you with. I will be here the next 2 days conducting meetings in the Media Center, thanks to Dr. Johnson, and I will be calling you this evening to schedule your appointments. So please be on the lookout for my call this evening. Also, if you would, I am going to have a drawing with those forms. If you complete those forms for us, turn them in. I will ask Dr. Johnson to draw a name for one lucky winner to leave with a $10 gift card to Starbucks this afternoon. Thank you very much. I look forward to meeting with you this week in the Media Center, and have a great afternoon.